So good day everyone, my name is Christian B. Olandes, and now I will going to discuss about providing constructive feedback and addressing performance issues in a work-based context. So here are the objectives that we must need to attain at the end of the discussion. First, we will going to define what is constructive feedback. Second, we need to value the importance of constructive feedback and addressing performance issues, and we will make a reflection paper. For the first topic, so let us know what is constructive feedback. When we say constructive feedback, it is a type of appraisal that you can give anytime. It is also a technique of reviewing performance without making people feel bad about what's not working. And also, meaning to say, constructive feedback, it is a response that helps someone improve their performance by offering suggestions and insights. It is a type of feedback aimed at achieving a positive outcome by providing someone with comments, advice, or suggestions that are useful for their work or their future. So, I have here a question, why we give feedback? So, we give feedback because it helps them, the students or the learners, help them to develop and grow. Either to reinforce what people are doing well so that you can get more of it. And also, we give feedback to give suggestions, alternatives so that they can improve. And also, the spirit of feedback is always constructive, positive and helpful, and never destructive, negative or critical. So now, I have here an example of constructive feedback. So here is the example number 1. It is about the employee's performance is lacking. So here is the situation. Junel is typically a reliable employee, though he has seemed distracted at work and is turning assignments late. Rather than reprimanding Junel immediately, let him know you have noticed these changes and would like to resolve them. So here is the example of constructive feedback. Junel, I always appreciate how productive and reliable you are, but I have noticed a change in your performance lately. Turning in assignments late is unlike you. I wanted to check in with you to discuss any challenges you have been facing and understanding how I can support you better. So as you can see here, um, from negative, it turns to positive. So that's how the constructive feedback works. So for the next example, for the example number 2, is about the employee rarely communicates. So here is the situation. Jezabel works remotely but often does not respond to emails from his supervisors or colleagues. As a result, they often do not know whether he read their messages and started working on the assignments. So here is the example of constructive feedback in this example. Jezabel, I wanted to check in you regarding your progress on your project. Since I didn't receive a response to my email last week, I'm unsure of your current status to ensure we stay on track with our deadline. I'd appreciate it if you would provide daily progress updates each afternoon. Moving forward, please make sure to respond to my messages. If you're facing any challenges, let me know as soon as possible so I can assist in finding a solution and keeping the projects on schedule. So as you can see by the example, they give a feedback to improve the performance of their colleagues or of the worker, not by destructive them and not feeling them bad on what they are doing. When I should give constructive feedback? So it says that providing consistent and frequent feedback can help employees feel more comfortable having discussions about their performance. If you have constructive feedback about a specific project or task, communicate it sooner rather than days or weeks later. So it says that we give constructive feedback soon rather than days or weeks later for us to um, them know what are those we observe um, that we feel bad and those negative performance by our workers for it to resolve it as soon as possible. And this approach ensures that the event is still fresh on you and your employees' minds. As a result, you may find it easier to identify issues and determine how to avoid or fix them in the future. So, next we have here the benefits of constructive feedback. So, first benefits of constructive feedback is it enhances communication. So, it helps create an open dialogue between you and employees. So both practices may begin to feel more comfortable providing honest feedback which can foster a sense of trust. So for the second benefits of constructive feedback, we have clarifies expectations. You often identify weaknesses or the concerns you have and offer solutions. So as a result, the employees understand how you expect them to perform their job. So this feedback can provide clarification and direction for employees, ensuring that they meet those expectations in the future. So next benefit is increased engagement. So it shows employees that you want to support them and help them grow. So it ensures employees who sense that support may be less likely to leave because they feel appreciated. So here are the tips for giving constructive feedback. So first, we need to be specific by providing specific examples of the behaviors that the individual succeed at or needs to improve. So it means that if we are giving feedback, we need to be specific. We don't need to add any other thoughts that um, may change the story or may change the things that you observe from your employee. So next we have provide actionable advice. So after identifying weaknesses, give employees actionable advice on how to improve those behavior. So it says that you will give tips and advice or a solutions, example solutions, or for them to resolve those weaknesses and improve their actions towards for the future and also to improve their behaviors. So next, show your appreciation. So during constructive feedback, conversations, make sure to recognize your employees' effort, highlights their positive attributes, can help boost their confidence as they work on making improvements. So as a supervisor or a mentor, you will need to appreciate every effort of your employees for them to show or for you to show that you value their efforts, because that is one of the important thing that you need to do. You will need to value their efforts and you will need that for you to your employees will have or gain the positive attributes that it can help their confidence to make improvements. So for the next is listen to your employees. So providing feedback should serve as two-way conversation. After discussing your views, give the employees time to reflect and ask your question or voice their thoughts about the situation. So, it says that you will need to listen on what will their explanations regards to that um, specific negative actions that they do, for you to know what is those things that he do. That's why that may result to not doing those activities, those assignments, or those reports. You will need to listen to your employees for you to understand and to know those things they do before doing that specific task. So next, we have here addressing performance issues in work-based context. So first, in recognizing performance issues, we have here the first declining our productivity. Consistently failing to meet targets or deadlines, sales dropping below 20% of the quarterly goal is an example. So for the next, we have the quality concerns, recurring errors or standard work output. Customers' compliance increased by 30% due to product defects. And also you will need to recognize those per attendance. So frequent absences, tardiness, or extend breaks after 3 to plus days a month without prior notification. So next we have the behavioral issues. It is about disrespectful conduct or negative impact on team morale. Publicity, criticizing colleagues in team meetings. So these are the things that we need to recognize about the performance issues of our employees for us to improve the productivity and improve um, the efficiency of our company. So that is the things that we need to recognize: the productivity, the quality concerns, the attendance, and the behavioral issues. So next we have here analyze the root causes. So we need to analyze those root causes of the bad performance. So first we have here lack of skills. So as a result, we need to provide training or mentorship for them to enhance their skills and improve their learnings regard to the specific task that they assign. So next is low motivation. So as we need to do an action to the improve engagement through recognition, incentives, or career growth opportunities. So that's why as a mentor, we need to improve their motivation or make them inspire for us to make them motivated. So next is work overload. So delegate tasks, reorg reorganize priorities, or adjust expectation. So we need to give tasks to the employees which that can they can do in a proper time. So that's why here we need or they need to practice the time management for them to finish the activities. And we need also as a mentor or the trainer, we need to adjust our expectation that our learners or the employees is not that too much expert in doing that specific task. That's why we need to have here need a guide, or we need them to support for them to improve their skills and performance. So next is the personal issues. So offer support programs or flexible work arrangements. And also we have here the unclear expectations. So as an action, we need to set clear, measurable goals and provide regular feedbacks. So that's why we have here constructive feedbacks for us to um, give them a feedback that may improve their performance and improve the efficiency um, of our employees for us to make them feel that they are motivated and inspired. So for the next, we have here understanding the root causes. So first, we have here lack of skills or training. So the employee may not have required knowledge or experience. So that's why as a mentor or as a owner of the company, we need to have those trainings and training programs for us to or for our employees to improve or to have a additional knowledge regards to their specific task that they assign. So, second, we have here unclear job expectations. So, confusions about responsibilities can cause inefficiency. So, that's why we need to give a clear expectations, a clear feedback, a clear thoughts, or clear rules and regulations to our employees for them to for their to know those specific is specific responsibilities that they need to do. So for the third, we have here personal or health related issues. So we have here the stress, illness, or external pressure can affect performance. So that's why we need to have here specific action regards to these health related issues. So for the next, we have here poor management or leadership. So it is an ineffective supervision or lack of support can demotivate employees. So that's why if we have the owner company or the trainer or mentor, we need to have a good leadership that can lead our subordinates effectively for them to feel motivated and inspired. And next we have here workplace conflicts or stress. It is about negative work environments impact focus and productivity. So that's why our workplace needs to have a comfortable place for our employees to work efficiently and effectively. So next we have here holding constructive decisions. So we have here the best practices address concerns in a private supportive setting. So because every employee has a private concerns regards to their personal problems. That's why we need to have that supportive setting for us to know what those specific problems that they encounter. So next, we have here focus on specific behavior rather than personal attributes. So as an employee, you need to have those good behavior regards to the workplace for you to have a good communication, a good relationship to your co-employees. So next, we have here encourage open dialogue to understand the employee's perspective. So we have here to have an open communications for us to understand what is the perspective of each and one of each and one of us for us to understand and those problems, and we will give some tips or advice on how to overcome it because we have different perspectives. So that's why we need to put our shoe in the other shoe of others. So that's why we need to have here an open dialogue or open communications for for us to have a good relationship to our employee. So for the next, we have here resolving performance resolving performance issues. So what are those things that we need to do to resolve those performance issues? So first, we have here, if performance does not improve, consider reassignment or additional training or mentorship. So, if our employee did not improve, we need to assign he or her in another task that they can do that fit to their specific skills. So we can also add additional trainings for them to have another knowledge regards to that thing or regards to their assignment for them to realize their specific responsibilities. So next we have here encourage open communication between employees and management. So as I said before, for us to understand what was the perspectives of each and every one. For you to have a open communication, you need to become um, through open communication, you will have a good relationship to your to the employees and management. So next we have here promote teamwork and collaboration. So in a workplace, we need to have a teamwork and collaboration for us to work efficiently and effectively as a team. So for the last, we have here ensure fair treatment and avoid a toxic workplace culture. So that's why we need to have a fair treatment. We don't need to have here a favoritism, and also through this fair treatment, we will have a good relationship to each other between employees and management. So that's why we need to have here a good behavior and good characteristic for us to maintain those good relationship. So that's the end of my discussion. Thank you so much everyone for listening and active participation. Once again, I'm Christian B. Olandes from 3A Electronics.